So it's the most money ever paid to a non-quarterback in this league, the highest non-quarterback guarantee at signing. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota, has signed with the Vikings, a great player, 4 years, $140 million. It feels a little bit like an NBA contract. The difference, he's great, not just a middling player. But there are 4 reasons why you had to make this move, and I defended him multiple times in the last couple of months, Justin Jefferson. And I don't always defend receivers. Number one, they have a rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, in an offensive division. J.J. McCarthy is going to need help, and Justin Jefferson attracts double coverage, makes you roll the coverage over, will open up the field. Number 2 is the Vikings have an offensive coach, and offensive coaches get the ball to their playmakers very well. McVay and Cooper Kupp, Kyle Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey, Mike McCarthy, C.D. Lamb. They have a way of doing it. Tyreek Hill in Miami. Defensive coaches can struggle getting the ball to the right people. Meanwhile, number 3 is the NFC North is probably the best offensive division in football. You're going to be in some track meets. You're going to be in some fireworks shows. You need easy touchdowns. They can't be 12-play drives. I like Jordan Addison. I like Aaron Jones. But J.J. McCarthy needs some over-the-top 72-yard touchdowns. He's not Mahomes. He's not a veteran. He's not Stafford. He's a young kid, and when he does play, he's going to need some easy touchdowns. And number 4 is, I wouldn't have believed this 7 years ago, but the game's changed. Look at the rules. Wide receivers, to me, were always icing on the cake, but never the key ingredients. It's over. 9 of the 10 top receiving yard leaders, 9 of 10 made the playoffs. Much more than leading rushers. So are we in a wide receiver bubble? Well, we've been in tech bubbles, and tech companies still rule the world. We've been in housing bubbles, right? We've been in all sorts of bubbles, stock market bubbles. I still retain some stocks. I still have a house, a lot of tech. Bubble doesn't mean what you have is bad. Sometimes you overpay for things. I'm going to be okay overpaying a little for a quarterback, an edge rusher, and a perimeter weapon. And my take is, look at what the NFL's doing with its rules. It's telling you, protect wide receivers and elevate wide receivers. They're good for fantasy football. They're good for ratings. The most explosive touchdowns for television are from wide receivers, not running backs or quarterbacks. And so I look around this, and something else that's important. There are certain things you have to overpay for. But when you overpay for certain things, do they at least deliver? Receivers do. Take away the Mike Williams deal with the Chargers. He just got hurt. Debo, DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin. They got huge deals, and they remain highly productive because the sport is telling you they want receivers to excel. All the rules are can't touch them. I grew up in an era where there was a term used on every broadcast more than once, alligator arms. Receivers, especially fast, thin ones, did not want to go over the middle. About a decade ago, the NFL changed rules. Everybody wants to go over the middle. That's where the eating's good. And Justin Jefferson could be a drag route, a seam route over the top, is more than icing. In our last 8 Super Bowls, 6 quarterbacks and 2 receivers have been MVPs. So this was not always a position that I thought deserved to be highly compensated. It is now. For the aforementioned reasons, I think you pay them, they did. The Vikings have historically been a pretty shrewd franchise. They just haven't been as good as the Packers at quarterback. But this division with Caleb Williams and the Chicago upgrades, you're going to be in your shootouts. You're going to be in them. And I don't think J.J. McCarthy is Caleb Williams as a talent. I don't think he's Jared Goff as a talent. I don't think he's Jordan Love as a talent. He's going to need more talent on the perimeter. So I talked about this a few weeks ago when Caitlin Clark came in, is that every business needs a catalyst. And I had a little podcast business called The Volume. We were doing fine for about 8 months, and then we got Draymond Green, and he was our catalyst. People paid attention to us. Every business needs a catalyst to kind of spring, to pop. It could be a tech company that needs a product. It needs an app. Every business needs it. So the WNBA hasn't made a lot of money, but the talent, the quality of play has been elevated over the last 7, 8, 9 years. They just needed a catalyst. I mean, MLS went and got Messi, a catalyst. LA Galaxy went and got Beckham. So Caitlin Clark is making people watch the sport. And now everybody's kind of freaking out because she's getting nudged here and hard fouled there and hitting the floor there. And Chennedy Carter yesterday banged into her. Everybody's freaking out. Where is the protection? Oh, boy. Once again, the media, fans protecting somebody that doesn't need protecting. When Tony Kukoc came from Europe to play with the Bulls, MJ and Scottie Pippen, this is what they did to their own teammate in practice. Sports is tribal. It's intimidating. It's physical. And it's prove it. Those who aren't tough don't make it. She is. Chennedy Carter is the Patrick Beverley of the WNBA. She's on her third team. Feisty as hell, tough, intimidating, and physical. She is there to provoke. Like Patrick Beverley, who I ran into the gym recently, got a chip, little anger, tough, wouldn't want to mess with him. And that's what Chennedy Carter is. The NHL, the NBA, they've always had enforcers. They don't always have to be the biggest player on the floor. They've got to be scrappy and defiant, sometimes bordering on unfair, physical, inappropriate. That's all that happened. My only issue in that entire weekend, all these hard fouls, I've got two issues. Number one, why didn't one of Caitlin Clark's teammates defend her? Where are your teammates? And number two, the WNBA has done such a bad job. They knew the Indiana Fever had the number one pick, and they knew Caitlin Clark was going to be the number one pick a year ago, or close to a year ago. Why have they played 11 games in 20 days? Caitlin Clark's worn out. One team, the Las Vegas Aces, has played 6 games. Multiple teams have played 7. They've played 11 games in 20 days. The last team that did that in the WNBA started 1-10. Can't the WNBA do a little to give Caitlin Clark a couple of days rest before big games? You knew she was going to be the number one pick almost a year ago. So I've had a problem with the way they've grooved Caitlin Clark into the league. I've had a problem with, well, that's about it. I don't have a problem pushing around Caitlin Clark. It's okay. Everybody's freaking out about this. Yeah, I wish a teammate would have stepped up for her. I wish the WNBA could figure out you've got a star a year out. But this is actually kind of like the NBA. There's a Draymond Green, a Dennis Rodman, a Bill Laimbeer. There's an enforcer. Well, who do they pick on? The bench guy? No, they go pick on the star. Go ask Magic Johnson about Dennis Rodman. You know, go ask great offensive players about Draymond Green. Draymond Green doesn't spend a ton of time picking on the number 9 player. He goes after the star. This is sports. Caitlin Clark is more than built for this. Be nice if she had a teammate who stood up. It's okay. Take a deep breath. I've watched this in college. I've watched it in pro. This is the growth of the WNBA. It started out, it couldn't make any money. And the NBA had that problem in the 70s. And then all of a sudden, the quality of play gets better. And as some teams start breaking even, they play in some nice arenas and they get a TV contract. And all of a sudden, the quality and the length and the occasional European player, and all of a sudden, now we're seeing the next level of growth. They got a catalyst, and the league's feisty, and they've got enforcers. The ultimate compliment to the WNBA is, I see this all the time on the guys' side. It's okay. The ultimate respect isn't pandering and placating to women's basketball. It's accepting that sometimes it's physical, tribal, intimidating, and uncomfortable. The best kind of basketball, men or women.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.